Yo guys, what's up? My name is Garo, and today I'm going over the Okkult Square 4 generator. That is a instrument rack that I put together with the guys at Okkult Samples. And what this rack does is it pretty much gives you an endless amount of Square 4 basses, and it runs in Serum too. In this video we're going over pretty much how it works, how we can set it up, all the different macros we have. We'll kind of go through this little demo project that I have for it, so I can show you guys what it does exactly. So, without further ado, I'll just play you guys this preview real quick, so you guys see what we're working with. So that's it. Obviously the drum sounds are samples, but all the bass sounds that you hear all come from the Square 4 bass generator rack, which is this guy over here on the bottom left. And so if I go over here, I have a little MIDI patch, so we can kind of listen to what it sounds like when we solo it, which is like this. So we all know this sound. It's the very, very famous Reason Maelstrom Square 4 sound. But what we have done here is we have recreated it in Ableton and Serum. So if we look inside of the rack, we can see the Serum 2 here. But the nice thing about this rack is that we don't actually have to go inside of the plugin. All we have to do is hit this random button over here. So let me duplicate this real quick so we don't lose the original sound. And now let's see. Every time that we hit randomize, we're gonna get a brand new bass sound. And so that sounds like this. Very cool. So pretty much allows for like an endless amount of customization and an endless amount of presets, which I think is very useful, and it might also be the future, to be honest, of like sample packs, preset packs, because it allows for so much more customization than just like your regular presets. Because in this rack we have also included all of the post-processing, which we'll go over in a bit. So it allows for a lot more customization than your regular samples, and even presets, to be honest. So all that's going on the MIDI is just the pitch bend. So the pitch bending is still done inside of the Ableton envelopes, and then all of the rest is happening inside of the rack. Over here, we have a couple of presets as well, but the nice thing about the rack is, again, we could just hit the random button and go from there. Let's go over the post-processing a bit. Start off with an OTT, pretty much self-explanatory, right? Just a bit of compression that's happening before all of the post-processing. It just really like tightens up the sound, makes it loud and nice. But in case you want some less OTT, you can always turn it down. Then we have a disperser. Again, this is kind of the main effect of the rack. In the main version, we're using the kilohertz disperser, which I highly recommend. It's the better sounding one. But in case you do not have kilohertz or the kilohertz disperser, the rack also comes with an Ableton stock version. So yeah, you can use that as well. But I like to have this disperser all the way up usually. Just really gives it that rhythm vibe to it. The next one that we have here is the sub pusher. Just really pushes the sub signal. Very easy to go overboard with it, so I like to keep that at like the default position, but in case you want like some really distorted, maybe, like a bit of a whole inspired track, you could definitely crank this up and really get that like distorted feel out of it. We come over here, we have 4 more buttons, we have more compression, detune, chorus, and a distortion. And so let's play that real quick. So some effects might be more noticeable than the other ones, but they're all designed to be used in like regular moderation. So anything really that goes over like 75% of the macro is going to give a very like a creative touch to it. So usually I like to keep everything below 75%, but I'll show you a few examples where we have layers that sound a bit more like synths rather than these main basses. So again, like these macros are very customizable and go very in depth. So the last one we have here is the Fresh Air, which is kind of an emulation of the, I think it's Slate Digital. They have a Fresh Air plugin, and this kind of emulates it. So let's see what it does. It kind of takes that high end and like compresses it and expands it a little bit just to give a bit more high end while still retaining most of the sound. So these are like the default settings for the rack. You can like go ahead and tweak them. You can push everything and see what it does. But yeah, the nice thing about the rack is you just hit the randomize button and that creates an endless amount of presets. And so if we go over here in this orange group, we have the same rack, except this one is used more as like a layer, like a filler, like a background synth almost. So together, it's just the same rack, the same Ableton rack, except we have an EQ on both of them, and then a final EQ again at the end, and it just creates these like background effects that are really helpful to fill out your track, fill out your drops, and to really just push that loudness. So yeah, this rack is super versatile. It just kind of does like everything that you want from like an instrument rack. Highly recommend it. It's been very fun to use for sure. You just use it as like a very easy way to set up your track, go inside of the rack, change things up, automate all these parameters, just really create your own sound. And if you use the code GARO15 on the checkout, it's a personalized discount code that you can use to get a little bit of extra discount while the launch sale is live. So highly recommend grabbing it, and good luck, have fun.